Hello and welcome to Empire Rugby League. This is Coaching from the Couch with your Origin wrap-up with Bear and Wombat. Wombat, probably not the best time for you at the moment.
Oh, I'll get the tissues out.
Oh,
No, it's not. Oh, I knew this was coming.
Yeah, well, look, we've got to do it. It's part of the parcel. We'll start with the women's. The series all done and dusted now. The Blues win 2-1, won the first two games, and to be honest, didn't even bother show it up in the third.
Yeah, it seemed that way with the way it went. But even without them showing up, really, they nearly looked like they were going to beat Queensland anyways.
There was some moments there I'm like, girls, if you just turn it on a little bit, you've got this. You can have a whitewash. But I just don't think they were interested. Honestly, this is the problem with dead rubbers, is the team that's already won doesn't even bother putting in effort.
Yeah.
Like, the girls were playing at 70%, let's be honest.
Yeah, they were.
And Queensland just went, we've got to save the embarrassment, and that's always going to come over the top.
Yeah, and I will say, one thing that stood out to me throughout the whole game, just Isabel Kelly's bomb try.
Bro.
But
she scores that, they win.
But for both reasons. One, yes, it's a blatant, obvious ball, never touched the ground, whatever.
Yeah.
But how many times have we seen that in previous games?
And not even checked.
And it's not checked before. It's never been checked, and it's never been a thing.
Look, I got no issue with it being no try.
Oh, it's a no try, hands down, because the ball never makes contact with the ground and she gets up.
But I think that just epitomises exactly what I just said. New South Wales didn't care.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
it seemed
not care. That's probably the wrong word.
Isabel Kelly cared at the end when she was interviewed.
100%. But you're filthy on yourself because that's embarrassing as all shit. But that just sums up that no try sums up the New South Wales night, because
they seemed lackluster and just there.
We've got to play this one. We've already won the series, but we've got to play this game. That's what it felt like.
Would you say an opposed training run is more like what it looked like?
I think that's what they were. Yeah, basically. And if Queensland probably tempered themselves a little bit better, they probably steamroll New South Wales. But look,
it was a bit of a shake-up though, having Ali Brigginshaw going to 14.
Yeah, technically, yeah.
And then
Lauren Brown at 7.
Not start, and then she was.
I think we've starting to see the potential future of the Queensland women's side with Lauren Brown at 7, Taryn Aiken at 6. Tamika Upton will always be the fullback.
I will say Maddock did a good job at fullback.
Yeah, look, nothing special. Again, I think if you have Tamika with that field position, the scoreline's a lot bigger in Queensland's favour.
Yeah, possibly.
I think Haley's the backup for Tamika at Brisbane as well. So, Phil did her job. 100% did her job.
That's the thing, is just got out there, did her job, and then went home.
Yeah. Mackenzie Wheel in the forwards for Queensland was...
She's Cowboys, isn't she?
I can't tell. I couldn't tell you off the top of my head, but...
It's the ears, right? It's the ears. Yeah, that's the one I'm thinking of.
She was phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal, and we'll touch a bit more on her later. But was that Ali's last game?
Unfortunately, I think it was.
I don't want it to be, but I think it was as well.
I think purely not so much because she can't do it. I think it's just time.
Yeah.
It's just time to change the guard.
I 100% agree with that. And don't get me wrong, she will have a Gillaroos jersey at the end of the year. And she will be the starting half for Brisbane all year.
I just think it'll be a different role on the Gillaroos side, I think.
I think so as well. But I think for the benefit of Queensland, and I know this is out of school, me being New South Wales and talking about this, but...
No, I'd agree. It's just... I think it's one of those ones where you've done your time.
Yeah.
You've done your time.
How do you tap someone like Jonathan Thurston on the shoulder and go, mate, I think your Origin days are done?
I think this is more an internal thing with Ali and the coaching staff there, that they went, you've been around a while. Let's finish the series, regardless of a win or loss. We'll let you go out on your own terms.
And don't get me wrong, I am not questioning the hunger or desire within Ali to play for Queensland. That's nowhere near a question.
Unfortunately, I do think it's the ages might be catching up because
I think it's just quietly gone over, just a little bit too over the hill.
Maybe.
Like, put it this way, you wouldn't pick Adam Reynolds for Origin.
No.
But you'd pick him every week as your club, or maybe not the form he's in, but you'd pick him every week as your club 7.
Yeah.
There's another one in that sort of boat. Ben Hunt would probably be, Ben Hunt's probably the same. I think Ben Hunt's Origin days are now over.
Yeah.
There's a lot. You got to start looking for the fresh crop.
Yeah.
And I think that's what Queensland have done, and I'd be quite comfortable.
I think maybe with the way that women's State of Origin is played scheduled. I think they just went, well, maybe this is all...
We have nothing to go on, so... Yeah.
I think that might be it, is like, hang on, if she's going to... Like, say, for instance, she picked up an injury in that last game and she calls time on her career, you went out in an Origin arena.
100%. Like, Ali's nowhere near done playing rugby league.
It's similar... We'll put her in a position of maybe Justin Hodges...
Yeah.
He finished his career... Oh, sorry, not just Brent Tate.
Oh, Tatey, yeah.
He finished his career... His last game was in a State of Origin Queensland jersey.
Yeah.
Now, he didn't play the rest of the season because he succumbed to that neck injury.
Yeah.
As well as another shoulder injury. Similar sort of situation, really?
Yeah, I think so. Look, and there's nothing... I'm trying to be respectful as possible because I love Ali. I think she is hands down the best 7 in the women's game that we've seen so far.
Yeah. And if Ali didn't stick to her guns for as long as she did, I don't think NRLW builds as much as it has.
100%. 100%. Look, Ali has steered the Gillaroos to multiple successful campaigns. She steered Queensland to multiple successful campaigns. She steered the Broncos to multiple premierships.
Yeah.
There is no questioning Ali's impact on the women's game.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
But I think, we're starting to see the emergence of a fresh Queensland women's side. And if you guys stick with Lauren Brown and Taryn Aiken as your halves for the next 4 years, that I think unsettles me as a New South Welshman.
I think both men and women's sides are in a similar position, really. You've got New South Wales, who they've done their change of guard in a way where they're finding their young... And
it's starting to stick now.
Yeah, they're starting to get the traction of their feet. New South Wales men's side is doing the same thing.
Yeah.
But both Queensland sides, they're in that change of guard
Yeah,
period.
they're in that limbo area again.
Look, we'll touch on the men's one a little bit later, but I'd say Cherry Evans and Ali Brigginshaw are in a very similar boat here.
Now that's probably fair.
It's clicked on me. It's like,
that's
a very
fair.
similar boat here because we use DC as an example.
Yeah.
Origin didn't quite do it. Broncos Manly game, absolutely
carved up,
absolutely killed it. So I think for Queensland as a whole, I think there's a changing of a guard happening shortly.
You might be on the money there, Wombat. That's a great comparison. Didn't even click onto that one. But
I think it's because we were trying to pick more of a women's.
Yeah, I was.
orientated.
Yeah. But that's a great comparison. Now, player of the match for this one was Chelsea Lenarduzzi. Yeah, she went out there, did her job, and I don't even know if she played more than 20 minutes, but
being sin-binned and still being played in the match,
see, that's the other thing. That doesn't sit well. Right with me. I don't care who you are. Put it this way, personally, when we pick our Empire player of the round, I don't care if that player's got 400 metres, 6 tries, and busting 300 tackles in a game. If they got sin-binned, bah.
Well, that was a rule we internally came up with, is if you sin-bin player,
you can't be player of the match all week because you've committed not a crime, but you've committed a infringement worthy of sitting down for 10 minutes. Well, so how can you be the best?
Same thing for Dally M's. You get suspended you're out of contention, period.
Yeah, you get suspended for more than two consecutive weeks.
2 games.
Yeah. So, look, I don't understand that. Personally, Mackenzie Wheel was hands down player of the match. Hands down.
Yeah, she was involved in anything, but... Because I'm pretty sure she is a cowboy. I'm pretty sure she's a cowboy, but... No, I would have to agree. This game... Yeah. Queensland forward pack just... I think it was more... They stood up.
It was just to save embarrassment. Like,
yeah.
As we said earlier, like the series is done and dusted. But I think there needs to be some questions asked from the coaching staff as well, because their selections throughout the series...
Questionable.
Yeah, especially in the forwards. Like, there's no secret. They got dominated in the forwards in the first 2 games.
Yeah.
So, there's probably some workshopping behind closed doors there.
Leading into it, we player of the series.
Yep.
Now, I think a few of the Empire boys... I picked it. I picked Koenig.
Yeah, I think there was a few others
that did that. 2, 3 others. So, out of all of that... Now, another one that was highly touted... And we spoke about this together, like both together. Jessie Southwell being contender for that.
Well, I don't even think she's a contender. I think she was the player of the series. Now, I'm taking nothing away from Koenig. Absolutely love her, but this almost feels like an apology from the game for not getting selected for Australia at the end of last year. Because, yes, she had a screamer in Game 2. She was the difference. She carved Queensland up on her own in the wet. 100%, but that's why you get player of the match.
Yep.
Game 1, she did a job. As did every other New South Wales forward. Game 3, she did a job. As did every other New South Wales forward. Over the 3 games, you have a 20-year-old halfback who's coming back from being dropped from the previous series, steering around a elite backline and forward pack that has
a very confident forward pack too.
Years of international and representative experience, and there's no genuine other half in that team.
Yeah, the other one was Penatani, which was
she was a 6. She was the 6 for the whole series, and
Penatani Gray, to be respectful for her names. That was a shock to me, seeing her name come up different.
Yeah, but Penatani's a centre playing in the 6.
Yeah.
Jessie Southwell controlled all 3 games. Yes, in Game 3, didn't have much of a chance because the girls basically didn't want to be there.
Yep.
But the first 2 games, you take her out of the 7 jersey and put a different 7 in, we don't win. To me, that's player of the series.
Yeah, okay.
Come at me.
No, I'd agree. I think I just went with my gut because it was more of I think the leadership of what Koenig was able to show, and last year being shunted from the Jillaroos squad, and after all the backlash of her becoming the Dally M medalist,
back row of the year,
medalist, and then missing out on Jillaroos to then come out and do that, and now be named player of the series,
premiership winner too last year.
Yeah, that too. Now, if she is not picked this year for a Jillaroos side,
she will be.
But if she's not, just realistically, if she's not, what is she done, or who has she pissed off to warrant not being there?
100%. And that's why I said at the top, this feels like an apology from the game for not being selected for Australia last year. Because I take nothing away from Olivia Koenig. Fucking love her as a player. And I thought she had a great series. But
just not a standout one.
Give me Southwell any day for player of that series.
Yeah, that's a fair point.
That's just me.
That's a fair point.
But we'll move on to game 1 of the men's, and this one you're probably not too happy about. But to be honest, I know New South Wales won, but I wasn't too happy with this game either.
I'll say this in one short way of saying it.
Uh-oh.
Blues simply outmuscled and outplayed Queensland.
Yeah, to a degree. I don't think very rare in an origin does either side outplay the other one. it comes... I know that sounds weird, but it comes down to individuals.
Well, would I say Tapeback outplayed and say outsmarted?
Potentially.
Queensland?
I think for the first time in a long time, New South Wales actually played as a team and Queensland didn't.
Yeah, that'd probably suit better.
Whereas for decades,
It's been the other way
it's
around.
been the other way by a mile. And I don't know. And I'm going to give credit to Madge because it's what he built last year.
Yep.
Not much changed, thankfully. But an 18-6 win at Suncorp for game one is pretty impressive. But at the same time, the game itself felt like a really, really, really good club game.
Well, in the first half, there was something...
Some of the penalties that were blown in the first half were pathetic.
The 6 agains. The commentators couldn't even pick up what the
Yeah.
6 again was for.
Mate, we've
For
lived...
both sides.
Yeah, we've lived with Origin for that long now that it's common knowledge. Put the fucking whistle away. Let them sort it out for at least the first 15 minutes. And this is why I was worried with the man who had the whistle. Because he can't go 5 minutes without getting his voice or his mug on TV.
Has to.
So, now I know we've had a referee in that similar vein before, but he actually understood the game and flowed with the game.
Yeah.
I'm talking Bill Harrigan.
In a way, with Origin, you sort of... It seems as though the referees are trying to take what's happening at Clubland up. Whereas, we'll take early days of Jared Sutton when he first took the whistle of State of Origin. I think when he started taking control of State of Origin, it started really phasing out like a lot of people. But then he pulled back a little bit. And I think this is when New South Wales won in 2018, I think it was. Was it 2018 or 20... No, because they went 2018, 2019.
Yep.
Then Queensland got,
Come back with
got the
22,
Shields back.
20, yeah.
It was one of those ones. Jared Sutton refereed. And people were saying it was one of the best Origin games you've watched.
Yeah, I think there was less than 6 penalties for
It
the
was
whole
like
game.
it was a 16-14 victory, I believe. I think,
Something
or
like that, but yeah.
But it was a free-flowing, fast, high-intensity game.
Yep.
And yeah, I think there was only 2 penalties blown the entire game.
Yeah. So, at Origin, right, you are dealing with 36 of the... You're dealing with the best of the best. 36 of the top tier talent in our game.
We'll say the biggest individuals of our game.
So if you think they need babying on the field with the whistle, you're the one in the wrong.
Yeah.
Again, I'll go back to Bill Harrigan. Like, holy shit, his nickname was Hollywood Harrigan because he had to get his head on TV.
Oh, yeah.
But at the same time, the games he refereed were some of the best to watch because he'd only blow that whistle or have a conversation with a player if it was damn well warranted.
Yeah, some of them I've watched are pretty intense.
I mean, go and have a look at him taking on Gordon Tallis.
Yeah. He told Gordon Tallis to sit down.
Yeah. And it was warranted. And that was in an Origin.
Yeah.
But the prior minutes to that, I tell you what, the boys got away with a lot. But the game didn't suffer because of it. Whereas here, I think the game suffers because of penalties now, and we don't want that at the top tier level.
And in this game, watching it, like, I won't lie, this is the first Origin I actually walked out of watching.
I got bored.
I walked out of watching it, and I've never done that before. Like, even in the New South Wales beating Queensland in the first Perth game, 50-something, whatever it was, yeah, it hurt, but I stayed for my team.
Mate, we were winning. I got bored watching that game. Now, I get bored watching club games sometimes.
Yeah.
But I've never been bored watching... I will sit there and watch Queensland spank New South Wales by 50, but I got bored in that game and I didn't care.
Yeah.
And we were winning.
I think it's more... It comes down to the way the game was refereed.
100%.
Honestly, because there was people... Like, where I was watching the game, there's some blokes in there that I knew quite well, and they've grown up with footy, everything in between. Even we were looking at each other going, what was that for?
Yeah.
What was that? What did you see on the screen that I didn't?
Well, that's the thing, and this is where it comes into the man of the match. Take nothing away from Payne, and people might have seen our recent post on our socials, but he was not man of the match.
Our Empire lads were unanimously decided that Zach Lomax.
It was Lomax, and even you picked Lomax.
Yeah,
you're the Queenslander.
Yeah,
he
was. The amount of times that the commentators mentioned Lomax's name was insane.
His yardage carries alone were better than every other forward except for Payne's.
Oh, 100%.
But who carried the ball before Payne had his carry?
Lomax.
Zach, every time. First set of the game. There's, I think, Barnett gets the kickoff. Yep, sweet as. Cool. The next carry is Lomax off the wing.
Yep.
And bails Harry Grant 10 metres back. All right, it wasn't 10 metres.
That wasn't just that first...
No, he did it all game.
Every game.
All right, then the next play after that is Payne coming off the back fence. Mate, once that starts, good luck stopping it.
Yep.
But Zach started it every set. Zach started those yardage carries and those heavy carries and got the big boys on the front foot. And then you throw in his aerial contests. Not all of them came off, but I tell you what, he made a contest out of every single one. Scored 2 tries. One of them he didn't have to do much for.
Let's go to the Dylan Edwards one, for instance.
Yep.
It's the ball's going up. Last try, because I watched the replays and everything like that after I missed it, so I wasn't missing anything really.
Yeah.
And the ball's gone up. Like, I actually grit my teeth, but I even applauded. That was it went to Lomax, then it went to Connor Watson. Then it went.
I don't know how he got that ball away. There was 4 or 5 Queenslanders all
looking at it and looking at the replays. It genuinely looked like a knock on. To be honest.
Well, I thought that live. I thought it was a knock on.
The ball
live.
moved.
Yeah, there was a lot of hands and yeah. I would have been sweet if that got called no try. Put it that way.
Because just the way that Watson got the ball and then it turned
and then it bounces. And
the way it moved just set me up. Well, I was like, "Oh, hang on a minute."
Yeah, I didn't live watching it. I thought, there's something wrong with this.
Then you see it, and the way that it's bounced between his hand and him, and then back to his hand
explains it.
Okay, that's fine. But even as a Queenslander, I can applaud that because that was that was impressive.
Yeah. But, mate, I think Zach's first try, he didn't have to do much, but I'll tell you what, the work of Stephen Crichton. Holy fuck.
Crichton is that player that he gets credit, but not as much as he deserves.
Yeah, there's some days that credit gets talked up probably a little bit too much, but no one's talking about what he did to attract 4 defenders to give Lomax 15 metres of open pasture.
Well,
that's insane.
He did it to... Was it Valentine Holmes? No, that was Latrell.
He dusted Hammer.
Yeah, so he's made Hammer panic and go at him early. But then it upset Munster on the inside, but then also upset
the winger.
Coates.
Yeah. Man. Holy shit. That alone, it was the try itself was pretty ordinary. The lead-up work was awesome. But, obviously we thought Zachy Lomax was man of the match. We'll move on from that. But there's still a lot of love for Payne. Yeah. This is not a discredit to Payne. It's just, I don't know who chooses these awards, as we touched on with the women's one as well. They're watching a different game to 80% of the country, I think. Or they're only watching the first 20 minutes and then going to do something else. Who knows? But Queensland lost by 12 points.
Yep.
Are we changing the squad? There were some shocking individual performances. Are we changing the squad?
I mean, we'll go off. Let's just. I'll stop smoking my mushrooms, as a few people said in our comments. But we all know here at Empire that my rage bait worked.
Oh yeah,
It worked.
hook, line, sinker. We went fishing.
Oh, yeah.
and you got the bites.
What we all knew about the New South Wales, it was
there's nothing there.
there was nothing really there. But all right, Queensland, let's throw a bit of food in the water. Really,
All right, are you keeping DCE at 7?
not after this weekend. Not after what we've seen at Tommy Dean. I think it's changing in the guard, unfortunately.
So DCE dropped altogether. He's your captain
Yeah, unfortunately.
and your halfback.
Yeah.
Gone.
Yep.
All right. Well, who takes over captaincy?
From what I've seen this year, personal favourite is Munster.
Yeah. All right. He's on the field for the whole lady. Yeah.
I genuinely think Munster. Or, here, young fella, you're the future Tommy Dearden.
It's not the wrong young fella to put that pressure on because I think he
captains,
thrives under it.
Captains the
Cowboys.
Cowboys.
Yeah. All right. So DCE's gone. You've got Tommy.
Hang on. I've got a counter to this. So, everyone thought the same thing when Munster was out. Tommy Dearden came in at 6. Everyone went, "Oh, is he going to be able to do it? Is he going to do it? Can he do it? Can he keep up to Munster? Can he do this?"
He's pushed him all the way.
You know it's concerning when Munster comes out and goes,
"That's not my jersey. I need to work."
"Oh, I need to work for my jersey now."
Yeah. But
I genuinely think Tommy Dearden is knocking on that door of that 7. He's played 6 a little bit of his career now. He's starting to find his straps as a 7, and I think he does the reverse of a Jonathan Thurston.
yeah, righto. Fair. But I've got no issue with it. But personally, I would actually stick with DCE. I think
loyalty is going to...
I don't think Billy drops him. Put it that way. I think DCE's the 7 and the captain next game. But what are you doing with Harry Grant? He started 4 Origin games in his career. You've lost all 4 of them. He comes off the bench 9 times and you've won 7 of them.
See, looking at this...
And his performance on Wednesday night?
Shocking. Absolutely fucking shocking.
Well, I did raise it as a possible concern that sort of performance would come out.
Yeah, and I think by default he really got that jersey because...
Who's your next 9?
Off the top of my head, it's
Reed
Marnie leading at the top of the ladder with the doggies. And next behind that, which I think he has flown under the radar, is Jake Simpkin.
Manly, yeah, Jakey Simpkin. That would be a great choice.
He has just flown under the radar completely, and he's done a fantastic job for Manly. Lockie Croker has been out all year.
Yeah.
Simpkin has been the one that goes in there 9 times out of 10.
Yeah, no,
Yes, they picked up Tavanga, but
I didn't even think of Jakey Simpkin, but that would be a scary prospect.
Yeah. And being realistic about another change as well is, and this is just my take on it, I think Hammer goes to fullback.
Yeah.
And I can see if Jackie Howard gets a couple more games under his belt, he's up there.
Fair enough. I mean, yeah, I don't think you can pick Ponga again.
Because he has said, Jack Howard did come out and say he's pledged allegiance to Australia
because he wants
Origin.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think that just shows about the character of who, he knows what he wants.
Yeah.
He's got that Storm affiliate still there around that area. I think he's not. I wouldn't play him just yet, coming back for shoulder injury.
Oh, he's not out of the picture though.
No, he'd be there.
Next year, he'd probably be there. What are you doing with Val Holmes? Now, Val didn't have his best game, but no Queenslander did. But then Val goes and plays for the Dragons on Friday night up against Newcastle, and Dane Gagai showed him up continuously all game. Absolutely stopped him cold. I've turned him around 6 different ways, multiple times. Gagai put him on show and went. Yeah.
I think.
Does Gags get a recall?
If he gets a recall, he's not getting a recall to the wing. I think just that sheer pace and his aerial threat, he doesn't have quite as much anymore.
No, that's a fair comment, but he's playing centre for Newcastle, so
realistically, I would throw him at centre, Hammer to fullback, and
there you go. So
that would be it.
Dropping DCE, dropping Ponga, Harry back to the bench.
Honestly, with the performance I've seen and what I've seen him do this year for the Storm, gone completely. I think he just need re-earn that jersey.
Okay, so dropping DCE, dropping Harry Grant, dropping Kalen Ponga, bringing in, or shifting to Hammer to fullback and bringing in Dave Gagai into the centres, bringing in Tommy Dearden to the halfback.
7, yep.
And how's your hooker going to work? Reed Barney start, Jake Simpkin off the bench?
That's how I would do it, yeah. Or I would go Simpkin to start, and then once it starts getting to that, you can play it two ways. If you want to be strategic about it, you can go probably Jake Simpkin at the start, be that fast pace, get the forwards burning, and then bring Barney in and go, hey, what are you doing? What are you doing? Hey.
Chipping away at him.
Yeah, literally just be that person just to niggle. In a way, be a Justin Hodges.
Fair enough.
Just be that person that'll just
you can't throw a punch anymore, so you might as well say what you want.
Well, we've learnt with Reed Marnie that he'll niggle and he'll pester, but look at who he's got in that Queensland side to run behind.
Well, that's just it.
He's got Tino.
You got Tino, Lindsay Collins, Pat Carrigan, Mo Fodawaker. Like, you got enough big boys back
out there. Of those 4, I know one of them is not afraid to throw a punch, and that's against Reed Marnie's teammate Matt Burton.
Yeah, true. But all right, so a few tweaks for your Queensland mob.
That's in my eyes of what I could see happening. Probably not for game 2. Maybe game 3 looking for the future.
Fair enough. Well, New South Wales have 1 or 2 issues themselves, especially with Mitch Barnett now gone for the season. Who comes in to replace Mitch? Look.
There's a lot of people calling for Max King.
Max King's already there.
To start.
Look, I don't think he's start-worthy. If you're going to pick someone on form, I'm bringing Keon Kyle-Matangi in.
Oh, the front row, yeah.
Just because you still have Payne. Maxi did nothing wrong off the bench, but you can't start the kid. No.
This early.
Nah. Off the bench. And Spencer I didn't see much of. Look, I think our bench was poorly balanced. Huddy Young, we got to see him for 15 minutes, and he always looks dangerous. Angus Crichton, passenger. Drop Crichton. Huddy Young goes to starting back row. Look, we didn't need the cover of the outside backs this game, but I still don't think it's a terrible idea to have that cover on the bench, because even when you're going well, you could throw that as an ace up your sleeve and just park that person in the middle.
So you've got, so far right now, so I'm tracking it, Keon into the front row for Barnett.
Yep.
Then you've got a spare spot on your bench.
Yep.
Spencer.
Spencer can stay just because I can't see them changing it.
So Crichton's gone.
Huddy
starting.
Young. Yep.
Who do you bring in?
I bring Campbell Graham into the centres, and I put Latrell on my bench.
Latrell on the bench? So would you put Latrell at 14 then?
Oh, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, just on the bench.
Yeah. Okay.
No, because Connor Watson's 14.
Yep.
Latrell goes
But I meant that 14 role where you can just go anywhere. That utility role.
To a degree. Like, so, say an outside backs goes down, Latrell can cover any one of those 5.
Then you've got Connor Watson that can cover anyone in the middle.
Connor covers 13, halves 9.
Yeah.
So, coverage across the park there with those 2 selected on the bench. Mm-hmm. If the game is going well and there are no injuries, Yowie, off you come. Latrell, go play in the middle and just be a pest. Go want the ball. You got a fresh Latrell Mitchell for 20 minutes at the back end of a half, and New South Wales are sort of on top. Bro, that alone would scare the shit out of me.
Yep.
Because all of a sudden, Mitchell and Nathan can go, let's just put this bomb up. Everyone in Queensland go, Zach Lomax out on the wing, this bomb is in the middle of the field, it doesn't matter, this is easy. Up comes Latrell, he's either going to absolutely poleaxe whoever catches it, or he's going to jump up and make an attempt himself.
Yeah, that's very true.
And if that comes down anywhere inside the 10 metres, you think a fullback is going to stop him from scoring?
No, unfortunately not.
That, and then you can have him linking in the back line like that roaming 2018 centre role.
Yep.
You could, like, mate, to me it makes sense. And
that's very true.
You're lowering Latrell's fatigue and work rate. Because, let's be honest, defensively, on Wednesday night, he was poor. He was very poor. And if Queensland's sharpen up and throw more than one option at him, there is space down that edge for days.
Now, let's put a realistic spin on this. It is Laurie Daly. He does think, if you go off past terms...
He thinks hookers are centres.
No, that's Brad Fittler.
Oh, that was Freddie. Sorry, my bad. Sorry, Loz.
Now you've got Laurie, who doesn't like to do a whole lot of changes, but then does all the changes in the world.
Yeah. Look, I can't see him adjusting too much from the side that won game one, purely because they won.
Yep.
Obviously, he's going to have to replace Barnett. I think he's going to bring Stefano in, which I think is the completely wrong call. I think Stefano is still at least 1 to 2 years away from Origin. He will get absolutely dominated in Origin. He's not ready.
Going up against Tino in that arena after what Tino has showed us.
He's not. Stefano's not ready for Origin. He can't. He's not even ready for Melbourne most weeks.
Yeah, look, I mean, we'll go back a couple of weeks and see what him and Liero did.
Don't get me wrong, Stefano's got a good game in him, but he's not Origin ready yet.
With what Keon's been doing, Keon would be a safe bet.
Keon would be my first one. And even if you started Max King and had Keon on the bench, Keon is a better bench forward than Hudson Young because Keon can play in the middle, play on the edge. Huddy Young, he's an edge.
Yeah, unfortunately, he's not big enough to go in the middle.
No. And I understand how they tried to use him, but it just, that's rubbish. Any other news coming out of Origin? I don't think there is. I think we covered it, most of it.
Not really. I think it's just everyone's asking the question, what's Billy going to do?
Well, it'll be interesting. I think he stays more loyal than anything else. I think he's got a few tweaks to make, but I think there's some game plan things. If that New South Wales keep the same side, I think Billy will have a field day with
I think so.
A few game plan options. But that'll do us, Wombat. Hopefully, when we preview the next Origin game, we might have the Badger here. I'll be outnumbered, but that's okay. I'm bigger than both of you.
And hopefully previewing it, we'll potentially also be sitting at Origin coming days afterwards.
We could very well be as well. But anyway, that's all we got time for today, folks. Thank you very much.